So earlier, I lied to you guys. I made a video claiming to be a no-kill challenge, but it was actually a no-killing humans challenge. This time around, I'll be including pigs in my do not kill list, along with a few other changes in rules. Obviously, rule number 1 is no killing, but this only means ending someone's life. Unlike last time, I can take hostages, shoot people if it doesn't kill them, and hack radios. It's not all upsides though. This time around, I won't be allowed to bring the secure loot perk, nor any perks from the grifter tree. Last time, these perks made certain missions trivial to ghost stealth, so they won't be allowed here. No Rest for the Wicked is up first. My first attempt was going quite well. I was caught a few times as I made my way upstairs, mostly because I was very used to cameras not seeing me with grifter, but was ultimately able to shut down power to the door and drag an executive downstairs without being spotted. I also took a second to walk in front of the camera operator. Since this is the one security room marked only as a private area, he'll just escort you out and then never do his job again. I scanned his eye, tied him up in a spot I've never had a guard see him, and headed upstairs. Surprisingly, I was able to check the code without locking the room down, which was very convenient. I headed back down to the vault and typed in the code. This time, I was almost more successful with the die packs, but apparently failed to fully finish one of them before I moved on, and once again ended up with Canadian cash. I was about to start moving bags towards the hallway when something unexpected happened. The hallway guard actually noticed my hostage. I ran over before he could raise the alarm and used the first tool I expected this run to lean on, the menacing perk. I've heard people say you can use it to take one guard hostage to avoid killing them, but actually the one enemy limit only applies to SWATs. You can take as many guards and even first responders hostage as you want. Anyways, feeling rather smart, I started moving the 2 hostages into the vault, when the executive suddenly got up and sprinted away from me. I decided to just call it here and try again. Already armed with the code, I figured this one would be a breeze, since I could just get the vault open and waltz out the front door. This plan was spoiled pretty much immediately when I forgot I didn't have grifter and picked a lock right in front of an employee. I took her hostage and decided to continue the run. I got upstairs and opted to take the camera operator hostage. I'm aware of the hack and smash exploit, I'm just choosing not to use it for this challenge. Anyways, I shut off the door's power and failed to disable 7 die packs again. I swear I get this pretty often when I'm not recording, I just can't prove it because I'm not recording. I played it a little fast and loose by transporting the first bag down the hall right between the hallway and lead guard, and surprisingly didn't get fucked over for it. Instead, I got fucked over when I stashed bags midway down the hall. I was banking on how unobservant the guards tend to be, but this one chose today to be the day he'd actually be good at his job. This decision landed him as my 3rd hostage taken this run. This especially sucks because I was hoping to use my last pager to take the alleyway guard hostage. Instead, I had to sit and wait for him to finally leave so I could secure the bags and end the run. No Rest wasn't too complicated, but was a lot more challenging without camera loops. Luckily, the next map won't have that problem, although I expect I'll have bigger ones. Road Rage is the map I was most worried about from the get-go. Not only is it loud only, it's also Road Rage. Fuck Road Rage. Just like last time though, I'll be giving myself a bit of a break and playing the map on very hard instead of overkill. Since my last video, I found out a few ways to complete Road Rage solo overkill, but it really turns the map into a test of patience more than anything. Well, more so than Road Rage always is. Even on an overkill, not killing anything was going to make this map a lot harder. Luckily, I have one saving grace. By holding a hostage while also using the perk that makes you immune to stuns if you have both grit and edge, you can turn yourself into a wall. Just make sure if you use this strategy to bring away to gain edge, unlike I did my first run. One loadout adjustment later and I'm ready to start trying for real. Sadly, my luck wasn't having any of it, and I managed to let a Civ escape before the EMP was ready. This really isn't the section of the map I was expecting to be struggling on. On my 3rd attempt, I actually managed to complete the first objective. As the truck started inching forward, I picked up my hostage and became the wall I was always meant to be. This is where I met the first major pain in the ass of this run. Snipers. The snipers on this and most other maps sit outside the bot's engagement range, meaning they literally can't defend themselves from them. Usually this means you have to kill them yourself, but this time it means I need to stand in between them and the bots as often as possible. I was thinking about all this when I accidentally let my grit and edge run out, but when I went to get my grit back by picking up a hostage, something strange happened. For nearly 25 seconds I got stuck vibrating against the truck as it slowly drove by, and when it was finally over I pulled the hostage I'd been trying to pick up out from inside the vehicle. I guess he was the real prize we were after all along. I'm actually inclined to believe the hostage was the one responsible for this reality-breaking event, because something similar happened right after. I was enjoying watching the cops ineffectively pistol whip me, especially this incredibly eager one, but I ended up getting distracted and falling into a hole. If you don't know, you can't walk out of these potholes while holding a hostage, so I had no choice but to make a run for the south secure point and hold out for the wave to be over. When it finally did, I flashbanged and intimidated a hostage rescue SWAT, something I at least found to be quite funny. Then I accidentally traded him for a health pack while trying to order him to follow me. To make things worse, Shade then said something that struck true fear into my heart.
Be careful, they're deploying cloakers.
I hadn't thought about cloakers yet, but I instantly knew they were going to become a nuisance. In my experience, bots are really bad at saving you from cloakers. Plus, if the bots happen to all be dead, I'll have no way to defend myself other than my flashbangs and one precious charge of disengage. I flashbanged another cop and used him as a shield, but after a while, the bots killed him while he was still in my arms. I grabbed a different one, but immediately got kicked in the face by a cloaker. The bot saved me and I tried to retreat to the front of the truck, but a cop body blocked me and forced me to go around the long way. I was chased by an especially eager hostage rescue guy, who distracted me for long enough I managed to fall into another hole. With all the bots dead and no way to get my hostage out, I used my 2 remaining flashbangs to get back to the hidey hole. I wasted all my ammo in hopes that the bots would drop me an ammo bag between waves so I could get more flashbangs, but for some reason they opted not to. I tried again to get my hostage out of the hole, but it was fruitless, and soon enough my bots went down and I was taken out by a cloaker, instantly ending the run. My 4th attempt started strong when chains got stuck on the front of the truck. This made it very easy for me to protect him from incoming damage and keep him alive. This worked for a time, until I got kicked in the face by a cloaker, and him, me, and the hostage I was holding got eaten by the truck. Eventually, me and the cloaker got set free, but the truck claimed the life of my hostage. Soon after, I was hit by another cloaker with no bots left, and the run was over. This time, I wasted all my ammo from the start to ensure the bots would give me more flashbangs, just in case I needed them. Chains got stuck on the truck again, allowing me to make it all the way to the ramp without running out of bots. This time, the cops seemed to realize the hostages were my key to victory, so after I finished drilling, a native threw a gas grenade directly on top of my construction worker. Thankfully, he remembered his invisible gas mask when he left home today, so he was fine. I signaled Bile as soon as possible and ran the minerals to the chopper. The cops backed down for part of it, but I ended up needing to move most of the bags while under heavy fire. I had the shit scared out of me by a dozer right as I started to make a run for the exit, but in the end I made it. I actually beat Road Rage without killing anything. In the end, I was mainly surprised this whole ordeal only took me an hour. With the biggest obstacle of the challenge out of the way, I was eager to move on to Dirty Ice, which I wasn't expecting too much trouble from. Dirty Ice sensed this and made me get instantly detected by a sieve while walking into the VIP area, forcing me to immediately mask on. I took him and the nearby guard hostage. I thought I could salvage this run, but when another guard came in and I accidentally shot him in the chest, it was over. Shooting a guard while they're surrendering sometimes causes them to break and not surrender anymore. This happened here and he fired his gun, effectively ending the run. My second run nearly met a similar fate when I started picking a lock in front of an employee. I really do lean on Grifter too much. But soon I made it to the VIP area where I could confirm what the code was. I tried to secure a bag from the front like I usually do, but without Grifter it wasn't happening. Instead, I entered the basement and disabled the VIP lockdown so I could use one of those bags to backtrack the operator. With the cameras disabled, the mission became a test of patience. I needed to avoid the sieve in the VIP area, along with the lead guard whenever he decided to wander in. To my surprise, this actually worked the entire time I moved VIP bags, meaning I could just take the VIP employee hostage and use him to secure the egg. With the egg in tow, I stylishly ended the run, and beat Dirty Ice without too much hassle. After the surprising number of failed runs last time, I decided that for this run, I would just speedrun Rock the Cradle so I could move on to Under the Surphaze. As always though, my luck was having none of it. Turns out it's a lot harder to do the sprint tech without camera loops or Grifter. Usually I would just let them arrest me and use Slippery to get out, but it's technically a part of the Grifter tree, so it's off limits. I failed 3 separate runs before even making it into the basement. On my 4th, I decided to slow things down. Not VIP passes slow, just allowing myself to be escorted slow. This worked in my favor, as after several long minutes of waiting and being escorted, I was in the basement. From there I didn't have much trouble. The IT room was on my side, which makes it very easy to access, and to be doubly lucky, the security room was too, so I could easily use the bag trick. I flipped the switch and secured the wallet. The secure point was on the more inconvenient side, but I was reasonably confident I could move the bags there anyways. The reason I'm choosing to secure both bags is another exploit I know. On this map, if you start the assault after having secured the wallet, and have no bags spawned in on the map, the escape point spawns in early, and since the secure point is on the more difficult side, I'm playing it safe. The IT room guard kept breaking reality by shoving his hand through the door, so I decided to arrest him. With him out of the way, I was able to secure the bags pretty easily. Then I stuck around the long way to get back upstairs. I ended up wasting my second pager in the poker room, but it was no big deal, and soon I made it to the escape point and ended Rock the Cradle. So this actually isn't the first run of Under the Surphaze I did for this challenge. I did one right after waking up and managed to get all loot bags without raising the alarm. I was quite proud of myself until I realized I'd forgotten to start recording. Guess I'm 2 for 2 on messing up my recordings and videos so far. The first thing I did when I entered the building was take the camera operator hostage. Not having to worry about cameras the entire run after how much of a nuisance they were last time was a blessing. I activated the tablet and started doing circles, opening up exhibition rooms as I went. I jumped up on a box, but apparently it got lubed up today, so I slipped off into a laser. Making things slightly worse, E6 doesn't even have anything I need in it. I was just in there to get all loot. I scrambled to finish circles and started gathering the required paintings, leaving one of the Vicario paintings on the roof next to the chopper secure point. Then I went downstairs to start the second set of circles. This went surprisingly well, and I was eventually able to shut down the security bars for the first floor too. I got worried the cops might try to steal the Vicario painting from me, and found I'd been right to be concerned when I got back to the roof to find it missing. I tried to get it back, but with no bots and no way to kill the snipers, it was hopeless. I made a desperate last stand in the break room, but when you can't actually fight back, it's hard to keep yourself alive. My second run started similarly. I disabled cameras, opened up a few exhibition rooms on the second floor, and eventually got circles done. I still had one of my pagers left when a guard saw one of my bags. I should have just hacked his radio, but instead I tried to grab it out from under him. He turned around and saw me, so I had to take him hostage. This was made worse when a second guard also saw me, meaning I was out of pagers and the building was on high alert. In any case, I slowly cleared out the entire second floor and secured the paintings in the van. I moved downstairs and had an obnoxiously close call with the lead guard, then apparently decided it wasn't close enough, so I walked face first into a different one. He apparently didn't notice the entire woman walking into him. That guy from No Rush should take notes. I did the downstairs circles and cleared out E3, then got caught while moving some of the last paintings on the map. I moved everything I could to the chopper spawn, tossed some paintings to the bots, and managed to escape just after the assault began, with all 20 paintings. I'm thankful that Surphaze wasn't as difficult as it was last time, but I do wish I hadn't had to do it twice. Maybe during my next video I'll manage to not lose any footage. This time round on Golden Shark I was noticeably less lucky. I didn't guess the right QR door until the last one, didn't guess the door code, and managed to get caught by an employee while hacking the computer in the server room. Instead of masking up and taking our hostage like a regular person, I instead fucked around by hitting with the door a few times. This fucking around predictably resulted in me finding out when a guard saw me through a wall and then called the police. Making things worse, I hadn't even checked what the code was yet. My second run started off strong when I lost both my pagers on 2 random guards upstairs, mainly due to impatience. Despite being masked up, I managed to get the code, disable the lasers, and open the vault. I was moving bags when I accidentally sprinted for 1 frame. The guard upstairs heard this and started coming downstairs. I managed to move all the bags out of the vault lobby before he got to them, but then he turned around, saw the vault, and called for a search. You may think he was mad all the money was gone, but actually he noticed the much more urgent inner gate being open. I was hoping I could get the run done anyways, but when Dallas failed to catch the bag I threw him, and I got seen through a wall by a sieve, it was over. On my third run, I barely even got started before I got caught committing a crime. I politely asked the guard if I could arrest him instead of him arresting me, and he agreed. What a stand-up guy. I was in the process of flipping switches when I accidentally alerted an entire room full of sieves. Thankfully, I was able to lock them down, but I knew the manager would wander into that room soon enough. He, of course, chose the moment I turned my back to find them. But luckily I was nearby and managed to catch him before he escaped. Corporate fucking prick didn't even think about helping his tied-up employees. This guy should take notes from the vault guard. Since this run was already extremely scuffed, I decided to do some experimentation. Without spoiling my next video too much, it's taught me that you can push a hostage in front of a sieve, then pick them up right as the sieve detects them to reset their AI. I decided to see if this would work on camera operators. It didn't. With no pages to spare, I started delivering bags, only to immediately get spotted by one of the guards in the basement. With everyone now searching, I figured it may be safer to throw the bags down from the roof, but first wanted to check if there was a guard up there. In my experience, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. This time there was, and I became aware of him just as he became aware of me. What followed was a desperate few minutes of running bags up to where I thought Bile was going to touch down. Bile decided now would be a great time to pull one of his classic pranks and land on the opposite side of where the flare was. I tried to secure everything I needed. I even got close, but in the end I was overwhelmed. My fourth run ended in failure, but at least it ended quickly. My fifth run I slowed down. Most of my failures were due to impatience, so this time I took things slow. This was rewarded with getting the vault open, but then the upstairs guard came down and got mad the gates were open again. If you do the bag check on the camera operator and then the search starts, he joins it, making getting out of the vault area especially tedious. Eventually I managed and started moving bags down the employee's staircase. It took a long time, but eventually I secured everything and finished the mission. Usually I don't get this much trouble on this map, but something about this run is just fucking me over. On 99 boxes, the universe seemed ready to finally give me a break. I managed to get both QR codes without any trouble. Geralt seemed to consider screwing with me when I was trying to get the canister, but eventually opted to basically just leave me alone. For the first time ever, Geralt G. Guard just let me both into and out of the office, and didn't even see the hack running. I did nearly ruin the run by missing a jump right in front of the lead guard, but even he let me off easy and pretended he didn't see anything. I got the first set of circles done without any issue, and finally faced a little bit of adversity. One of the workers stood right next to the spot you can get back out of the storage yard, forcing me to wait until the components were at minimum value. Even this wasn't a big deal though. I was already planning to use the component to backcheck the operator, so it being low value was expected. On my way to drop off the component, I did get seen by a guard. He almost managed to get a shot off when I broke LOS on him, but a quick shot to the chest reminded him who was in charge. Because of how eerily well this run was going so far, I fully expected the guard to be found while I dropped off the component. But no. No one ever checked in on him. I did the bag trick, delivered the first component, and got back to the storage yard. It took me a while to find the second component. For a moment I thought the favor that opens one of the containers may have actually activated on the component, but no, I've never actually had that happen. Has anyone else, or is it bugged like everything else in this game? Eventually I found the second component and got circles done again. On my way back to the truck I got caught while being a little reckless, but I did have a pager to spare so I didn't mind. Cash isn't a huge deal for me, so I didn't really care that the component was degrading. I used a cool trick I learned where you can throw bags through the side of the truck, but then had to walk around to the inside anyways because I still needed to close the doors. Boxes was a surprisingly easy clear, especially after the roller coaster it was last time. Once again, I got my second least favorite mission done on the first attempt. So I didn't realize until after I posted the last video that I actually made a few mistakes during the Touch the Sky section. Firstly, I called Mason Marcus for some reason, but more importantly, I forgot to introduce Gary. Meet Gary J. Guard, Geralt's cousin. Geralt aspires to one day be as good of a guard as his beloved cousin, even though everyone keeps telling him that not only is this a stupid dream, it's also one they doubt he can achieve. Anyways, I entered the building and got started on circles. I wasn't far in when I blundered ridiculously hard and honestly deserved to lose the run. Not only did I get caught while basically just walking down a hallway, I followed it up by immediately getting caught again while answering the first guy's pager. Somehow I kept this guy from firing long enough to force him to surrender, and then threw both of them, along with Mason's wife, into the upstairs bathroom. Since my last video, I've heard that apparently getting codes wrong on the vault triggers people to come investigate, so I assumed this was the reason that the lead guard was so eager to fuck with me last time. This time, though, I was ready for it, and kept trying to force the vault and waiting for him to come in so I could hack his phone. Then, when I was about halfway through, I got the vault open without incident. As is completely typical, he only showed up when it was most inconvenient, right when I was starting to pack up bags to throw into the zipline spot. For some reason, this zipline spot and this zipline spot alone acts as a secure point, so I usually bring zipline bag and leave it on the stairs so I can easily get everything from the vault. Making things even more inconvenient, him seeing the bag seemed to reset his pathfinding, so while I was hiding in the vault for a few seconds to wait for him to leave, he vanished and I had to go out looking for him. I found him slacking off in the kitchen and hacked his phone. I had actually been intending to get into the office before opening the vault so I could show off another new trick I found out about, but this slacker ruined my chances at that. Oh well. I almost managed to do something really cool by keeping up with the lead guard through a wall, then slide dashing back into range, but a different guard arrived to put a stop to that. Frick. In any case, I managed to get the QR code at the top of box stairs and went down to the filing room. With the keycard in hand, I was finally able to decrypt the drive, and was ready to make my exit. Once again, my luck was having none of it, and I got caught right next to the front door. I swear, this kind of thing doesn't happen when I'm not recording for a challenge. I tried to make a break for the exit, but the alarm got raised moments before my would-be escape. At least I was able to save Gary's life before the bots mercilessly gunned him down. I signaled Bile and traded hostages for as long as I could. I saved another man's life when I inspired him not to commit suicide. The cops arrived, but so did my getaway, and so, I actually beat Payday 3 without killing anyone. Hello again, guys. I'm here at the end of another video to talk about the channel again. What the fuck? I wasn't expecting my last video to do even 2% as well as it did, and as of this recording, I already have over 200 subscribers, which is incredible. I keep having people say they were surprised this was my first video, which is very encouraging. I'm not really the type to get all gushy, but thank you for all the support. Also, to the people commenting on my last challenge that it was pointless if cops don't count,
that's the joke!
My last video was made for me alone. I thought the idea of a no-kill challenge doesn't include the main thing you kill was funny, so I made it a video. It also gave me the chance to call police pigs a bunch of times. Anyways, thank you for watching, subscribe on your way out, and I'll meet you back here next time for another Payday 3 challenge.